digital, the digital process going forward. We know that film, which is becoming a thing of the past. Kodak just went bankrupt. Can you believe that? One of the biggest companies there was. It's just gone bankrupt. Film processing is ended. The problem is that we know that film stock lasts longer than digital. So how are we going to keep digital fresh? How are we going to keep digital alive so that after you finish shooting something or doing something digitally, it's not like you put it in a drawer and then 100 years from now or 50 years from now or 20 years from now, you're going to take it out and it's going to look the same. It's not. So the Academy is doing a lot of research on how and the ways to handle digital material and how to keep it so that we don't find ourselves like we found ourselves now in the past, trying to find things that were made by geniuses that we don't have anymore because they were either thrown away, destroyed, or faded, and you can't see them anymore. Just another quick story. In 1977, Fox re-released its Star Wars trilogy. And that was started in 1990. The process was started by Lucas in 1990, restoring Star Wars. Think about that. 1977, Star Wars came out. This was 1990, and he had to restore the movie. And there were 24 negatives, what they call soft negatives, of the movie that he had sent out around the world to museums and to hold for him. And when he decided to restore the movie, to re-release it on its anniversary in 1997, on its 20th anniversary, he had all the negatives brought in, and he realized that there was one scene in the movie that could not be restored. And that was the scene where the two droids, R2-D2 and C-3PO, come down to the planet, and they go in different directions on the sand. And then the stormtroopers come down looking for them, and they go in looking for them in different directions. That had faded out on all the stock that they had. And he couldn't bring it back to life to match the rest of the movie, which he was going to digitally enhance at that time, and sound, and he wasn't sure what to do. And I was in charge at Fox of handling the restoration with people who worked for me and people who worked for him. And one day I got a call from him, and he said, "Tom, we have a problem. I can't restore that. It's faded out. Because of the way it was shot in the sand, it was faded out." I said, "Well, what are we going to do?" And he said, "We're going to reshoot the scene." I said, "What?" He said, "We're going to reshoot the scene." This was 1995. I said, "Mr. Lucas, the actors have gotten older. How are you going to reshoot the scene?" He said, "Tom, the actors are droids. I promise you R2-D2 and C-3PO have not gotten any older. And anybody can play a stormtrooper." And we reshot the film in the desert, right outside of Los Angeles. And what you see in the movie today is the reshooting of that movie that was made in 1975, reshot again in 1995. And a good friend of mine, who worked for me actually at Fox, is one of the stormtroopers in that film. Anyway, that's a not very often told story. All right, let me tell you a little bit about the Academy. Who we are. We are 6,800 members, 5,800 of which vote for this trophy to go to someone. Why doesn't everybody vote? Because everybody isn't a voting member. When you get in, except if you get in one area, you're a voting member, but you can ask for retirement, and you have all the rights and privileges of retirement, but you don't vote. So we have less voters than we have members. The Academy does a number of things that you guys need to know about. And you need to know that as you begin your careers in school, the school careers, You need to use the information that the Academy can provide from you. Now you'll say to me, how do I get to that information? I'm going to tell you how. As soon as I find it. We give writing scholarships. We give writing scholarships to writers who are beginning, no matter what their age. Scholarships are, every year it's called the Nickel Screenwriting Competition. And every year we give out 5 $30,000 fellowships to new writers. This year, there were 6,700 entries into that category. All this information that I'm giving you today, you can get if you go to oscars.org. And then, guys are smarter than I am, you'll find all the categories that you need to know on how, if you want to apply for a Nickel Scholarship, how you do that. We have a library. It's called the Margaret Herrick Library. In that library, we have over 80,000 screenplays. We have over 10,000 posters. We have scripts. We have original scripts. If you guys are interested in things like what was going through Gregory Peck's mind when he did To Kill a Mockingbird before he went on with his script, you can read his original script with all his notes. We have thousands and thousands and thousands of places you can go inside that Oscar.org Margaret Herrick Library where you can learn about, here's what you need to know. You want to get ahead? You got to know a little bit about the past. What makes you better at what you do is knowing a little bit about the past. I know it seems old. The past. Yeah, the past. Because to be really successful, you got to know a little bit of history. All this history, that in whatever area you want to go into, I don't care what it is, especially now even digital. You can go on to the Academy Sci-Tech Council and get everything that's going on digitally in the world today. We just printed a new 2.0 digital handbook that has more information about digital filming, digital quality, digital storage that's ever been written about before. You can get that. You can know this much more than someone else who's going into the same field as you. Knowledge. You want knowledge. You want knowledge of the present, the past, to take you to the future. That's what it's about. You guys are in a great place. You know, there are thousands and thousands of people who would love to get into this business. Because you're here, because you're doing what you're doing, because you have an idea. As I tell you why I started this presentation the way I started, I didn't know what I wanted to do. You guys are well ahead of where I was because you know pretty much what you want to do. Your mind is like a laser now, where you want to go. You have to follow that. You're a step ahead of those of us who didn't know what we want to do. Yes, do you have to have some luck in what you're going to do? Sure do. You have to study hard, something that I forgot to do. Yes, you did. Did I get lucky? I did. But that was my luck. You have to work for it. And I learned that when I've always worked hard. I just was, my mother would say, a late bloomer. My mother used to say I was a late bloomer. My grandmother used to say I had big bones. I always wondered what that meant. I later found out. We're not going to go into that. We are also very involved in preserving and restoring film. Because we believe as an academy, you have to keep the past in the present. You have to know why filmmakers did what they did, why movies were made the way they were made. It's really important to know that stuff. We work very hard and spend millions of dollars in restoring films, not just films that are made here. The other thing that you guys need to keep in mind, you know, we live here in this great country. This is a business, it's a worldwide makes it so exciting, I said it before, why stories are so important in everybody's culture. How many people saw Slumdog Millionaire? That was a story that came out of India. It became a best picture, but it was about the story of people's lives. Anybody see The Separation? Okay, I'm telling you, if the picture plays here, and it will eventually, I hope, go see it. Go see what an Iranian filmmaker made. Did you like the movie?
Yeah, it's playing at and also at movie.
It's playing now? Go, if you can, go see the movie. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. We have outreach, international outreach. We've been to Vietnam, Cuba, East Africa, Iran. What do? We take people who are in the academy, who are experts in different fields. We went to Vietnam, and we found that in Vietnam, today, meaning within the last couple of years, when they made a movie, they did not sync sound to picture while they filmed the movie. Something that seems so simple. They waited, they filmed the movie, then they went into a sound room and they